Hi, so we're here at the DLD Summer 2015 with Ron Gutman from HealthTap. Thank you for joining us. So yeah, why don't you explain to the audience who you are, what you're doing, and why you're doing it?
Absolutely, my pleasure. So my name is Ron Gutman. I'm the founder and CEO of HealthTap. HealthTap is the world's largest digital health hub with more than 71,000 US licensed physicians in good standing that are available to people anytime, anywhere, from any mobile device or web connection. And you can connect with doctors via text, via video, via voice, and do it very, very easily. Right, so you can just click a button on your device and a doctor will show up, or you can just ask a text question. You can take a picture of a rash, for example, and connect it to a doctor and ask what's going on. And doctors will connect back, they'll answer questions. They're very warm and caring. They're some of the best doctors in the world. We serve more than 3 billion doctor answers and tips today to people all over the world. So created the world's largest repository of doctor answers and tips and news. Doctors are curating news. Doctors are reviewing apps, because it's very important for us to understand which apps health apps doctors think that are most useful and medically sound. Doctors are rating medications for efficacy, which is obviously very, very useful. It's the only place in the world that this is done at scale. And doctors are creating checklists. Because it's important not only to provide insights and provide for people knowledge about what happens with them and what to do, but it's also even more important to help people adhere to taking their medications, to use their medical devices, or to just do things that all of us know that we need to do, like exercise a little bit more, eat better, reduce the stress, sleep better at night. And when you have 71,000 doctors and they're all very passionate about helping people, it's possible to do.
So take us a little bit through the stages of your startup. So 3 billion questions answered, 71,000 registered users. I know from my own startup experience, it's really hard to onboard these people, to find them, to motivate, to activate them. What's your secret sauce? How did you get the growth going on? Maybe take us through the different stages of your startup.
Sure, there are 71,000 doctors on HealthTap registered and providing insights and help to people. We served hundreds of millions of people already on HealthTap. And I think that the secret sauce is to do something you're passionate about, is to go and solve a very big problem. For the very first day on HealthTap, and you can read our vision and credo. If you Google vision and credo, you'll find HealthTap coming up first, because we wrote about our values, about why we're doing what we're doing, before we even wrote the first line of code, before we even wrote the first sketch on a napkin. We looked at why we're doing what we're doing. We looked at what matters. We looked at the vision of what we're trying to accomplish, and it was always a big vision. It was always something that we wanted to do in order to change the world, in order to improve the lives of billions of people all over the world. And I think that really excites the right kind of people. That excites the people that actually want to change the world, that want to make an impact, that don't care about big challenges. They want to climb Everest because they know that when they do, they save lives. And we've received millions of notes from people thanking us for our service, thanking the doctors for what they've done, and received more than 21,000 notes from people saying, thank you for saving my life or saving a life of a loved ones. Wow. And they told us the story, and you can go on HealthTap and read these stories, and they're just amazing. And for me, as a product guy, as a technologist, it's really heartwarming to know that we're writing code on the one hand and saving lives on the other hand, but being mission-driven is what created the environment that enables this.
Yeah, so the why is really important. But we have a lot of founders that are just starting out, so maybe you can give us some tips on how they have to approach this. Did you do a lot of search engine optimization? How did you scale the business? How did people get to know each other? Was press really important, or anything that I didn't mention?
Yeah, I think that the most important optimization is people optimization, right? So you need to find the right kind of people, right? That are not only capable and smart and resilient and happy people and good people, but they're also a good fit to what you're doing, right? Because different people are excited about different undertakings. So if you find the right intersection between capabilities and skill and passion, but also fit to what you're trying to accomplish, you'll bring the right people that can make magic happen. We have an amazing team at HealthTap, really the most amazing team I've ever had in my entire life, and one of the best technology and product and engineering and service companies in Silicon Valley. And in the whole world, I believe. And the reason is that we chose them very carefully, one by one. And we had a lot of great applicants. We're getting more than 600 applicants per person that comes to HealthTap today. Right? So per hire, we get more than 600 applicants today. And we choose very, very carefully. And the reason that we have such an amazing team is because we never compromise, right? We really think about what is we get a lot of very smart people, lots of very capable people, but we always want to choose the people that are not only capable, not only skilled, but are also passionate, that are also excited about helping people, that are also excited about helping people at scale. And they're also doing it for the right reasons, but they also love what we're doing, right? And they want to do it for the long run, right? So when you do that, you create a really amazing company and help people all over the world.
So how did you fund the company? Was it self-funded or did you get some venture capital? How did that go? Maybe you can give us one or two stories about how you convinced venture capitalists, if you have any.
Sure, absolutely. So it's all about, again, it's all about really believing in what you're doing, right? At the beginning, it was, it started in my study, in my home, right? With a bunch of friends of mine that I brought together, to just brainstorm an idea that I had. And we spent a few weeks, and as I said before, writing first the vision and credo, talking about our values, about why we're doing what we're doing, understanding where we're going with this, and then putting it together. Started in a living room. And yes, initially you need to invest your own resources, your own time, your own money, in order to bring it together and start thinking about what you want to do and really making a really personal commitment to make it successful, both by time and by putting your own resources, I believe helps a lot at the very beginning. And then start getting more people that get excited about it, that what they do is they deploy money for a living. There are a lot of people around the world that what their role is that they take resources and they look for great opportunities and they, deploy the money because they're looking for a return. And it's really different for different businesses. There are different ways to doing things. Some people and some entrepreneurs like scaling up business themselves and they don't want to actually get money from the outside. And some people chose the whole notion of venture capital or private equity to get some of this money into their venture. And it can be just, friends and family or high net worth individual or really venture capital firm or private equity firms that invest in startups that professionally deploy money in order to get returns. And it's great. I mean, I think that the best way to raise money, doesn't matter from whom, was to really tell the real story and to really show progress. As an investor, as someone that raised quite a bit of money, I can tell you that it's all investing in startups or in anything is all about de-risking things. So when you go and talk with investors, think about what is the checklist that they have when they de-risk an opportunity, right? So they want to see that there's a great team. They want to see that there's very capable and passionate entrepreneur. They want to see that there's a great opportunity because venture capitalists are looking for really big opportunities, right? They want to make sure that you can execute. Right? They might make sure that you can actually take your idea and bring it to implementation. And every stage of the business, you need to prove that you can do more and better, and then you can get more resources to the point that you become self-sufficient. Because I think that the best investment in a company, actually your customers making you. Because great companies don't need investors, right? What they need is to create amazing products that people pay a tremendous amount of money for because they love the product. So at the end of the day, it's not about raising money. It's about building unbelievable products that people believe in and people pay for on an ongoing basis. But sometime to get there, you need to build a great product. You need to invest in people. And that's what venture capital and private equity are good for, because they allow you to focus on product, to focus on team building, while your vision to the future is happening, so you can build a machine, you can build a vision into a place that then can become self-sufficient and very, very profitable sustainably.
So clearly product is really important in your opinion. Do you think right now we are in a hype concerning the health space? Because there's a lot of money flowing into the space. People are seeing that health is really trending. We have also in Germany a lot of startups that go into that space. Here it's especially difficult because it's very regulated. For example, a thing like you're doing would be a little bit more complicated because we have something called Fernbehandlungsverbot, which restricts doctors from doing telemedicine with a new patient that they have not seen before.
Sure.
So what do you think? Is it a hype or is it something sustainable that's going on?
So two parts to your question. The second part is we actually thought about it in HealthTap, like when we go into environments like here that are more regulated this way, and we actually are providing our platform as a service to hospitals and to doctors to provide virtual care to their own patients. So a doctor or a hospital system can come to HealthTap, have an agreement with us. They need to pay. It's software as a service. But then they can take the software that we've built after almost 5 years of development and take the platform itself and provide virtual care to their own patients. So that's actually allowed here. And this is one thing that we got approached actually by some players in Germany and from all over the world that are interested to deploy our software and use their own doctors to provide virtual care to their own patients.
So that's your way around the regulations?
It's not around the regulations, it's actually just to power the current system to actually become more efficient, to save lives, to improve care, and to save costs within the regulatory environment that exists today. It's working with the regulator, not against the regulator, right? So this is one. The second thing is really this whole notion of like providing value, right? And I think that it's like at the end of the day, we need to provide and create software that empowers doctors and patients to provide better healthcare, or to get better healthcare faster, easier, and cheaper. Because at the end of the day, you know, it's your and my money. If it's government money, it means that it's money that you as a citizen pay to the government. It needs to be deployed in an efficient way to provide the best care to people everywhere. And what technology is really good at is actually creating these connections faster and easier for people, and especially in a population that gets older, we want to create convenient and inexpensive ways for people to access care. And a better way to leverage the knowledge of doctors and the access to doctors in a scalable way. That doesn't require people to go to clinics, that doesn't require building like very expensive buildings and equipment, but allows this whole thing to happen virtually. So we create the infrastructure for that and empowering the existing healthcare system to become more efficient, to become more cost effective, to become more effective in providing care, and we're very focused on that. And the second question was?
So the VCs are really looking into healthcare startups.
Oh yeah.
What's your opinion on that?
Absolutely. And you said that maybe there's too much money going into healthcare. I would argue that there's not enough money going into healthcare right now. Yes, we're seeing a surge in investment, particularly in digital health. And that's a great thing, right? Because, I think that a lot of money going into, other industries that are, technology-centric and hyped at any given point in time is good because it creates products and services that will help us entertain ourselves, help us become consumers, help us buy things, help us engage in life, which is fantastic. I love these kind of things, and I use this technology all the time, but there's not enough money going into healthcare. And healthcare is something that empowers us to do everything, right? And healthcare is finally starting to become cool. And it's cool to start companies in it. It's cool to start working in startups, which we're seeing so many applicants joining us at a given point in time, but it's also cool to invest in. So I think it's a wonderful trend, and it's in Silicon Valley, you see it very strongly. You see amazing investors going into healthcare, deploying more money. You see like doubling and tripling of the amount of money that goes into digital health, and it's a tendency that I want to see going globally. I hope that in Germany and all over Europe and eventually all over the world, we'll see more investors and more institutions deploying money in healthcare, and not just in biotech and medical devices, but also in digital health, because digital health is very important in bringing it all together, in engaging people around their health and well-being, reducing costs, and improving outcomes.
Cool, yeah. So you have quite some experience with starting a company, and maybe as a closing, can you give one or two concrete tips to first-time founders? What would you maybe have done differently?
Yeah. So first and foremost, and the most important thing that I can give founders, do something you love. Do something you're super passionate about. Do something that it doesn't matter how challenging it becomes, you're going to still wake up in the morning, jumping out of bed, wanting to solve this problem, wanting to build something amazing, wanting to serve more people. Because inevitably, entrepreneurship is a journey of solving problems, of tackling challenges. And if you love what you're doing, you're going to wake up in the morning and you ask yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? And you're going to have an answer in like 2 seconds. And you keep going forever because you love what you're doing. So the number one advice for entrepreneurs, do something you love. If you do it and then you do it well, focus on the product, focus on the solution, focus on understanding your consumers. Because if you do that, money will follow. Don't chase the money. This is really not about making more money, building a lot of equity, building fame. That's not about that. It's about the user. It's about the consumer. It's about the solution. It's about craftsmanship. It's about being an artisan, right? Figuring out the problem, figuring out the need, and then going and creating solution, building product that actually solve the need in a very fundamental way. And hopefully you thought from the very beginning how to scale it up. And then at that point, you're going to create something that will change the world. And then money will follow and fame will follow and all these things that come after you create something that is really, really valuable. So if you're passionate about what you're doing and you focus on the need and focus on the right solution and you are very, very keen on improving it and perfecting it and creating something extremely valuable and scalable, you're going to accomplish everything that you want to accomplish.
I think that was great closing. Thank you very much, Ron.
Thank you.